This is our first ever video format GN roadmap update. And what we're talking about today is updates to our testing methodology plus target launch dates for those. So we have some internal guidance on when we're planning to use new testing methods for CPUs, for GPUs, things like that. We're going through some of that today, along with what those tests are and when you can expect to see them. Also talking about some updates to case test methodology, updates to live streams, overclocking streams, special guests, quality checks for GN, all kinds of stuff. So this is very much a GN fan video. If you like our content, you'll want to see this one to get an update on what's coming up. Before that, this video is brought to you by Be Quiet and its Straight Power 11 series power supplies. The Straight Power 11 PSUs ship from 450 watts up to 1,000 watts, accommodating most of the gaming PC build requirements you'd encounter, and focuses on delivering a higher quality power supply that doesn't sacrifice on efficiency or stability. Noise is also a heavy point for the Straight Power 11, using a 135mm Silent Wings 3 fan that can spin as low as 200 RPM for quieter, low-load operation. Learn more at the link in the description below. I'm going to steal a line from Jay here and say this is basically going to be a talking head video. So if you want to tab away and listen, go for it. So growing a business is hard, and GN's done very well. I've been running it since roughly 2007, 2008. So I think officially we started 2007, but didn't really actually get doing stuff until 2008. Website format entirely for a long time. Didn't get serious in YouTube until many years after that. So as we have grown, we've obviously had to shift focus constantly, and this means that we've lost track of a lot of timelines on things. We've wanted to deliver all kinds of content and have fallen behind on some of it. In exchange, though, you've gotten a video every single day. For the most part, we've missed a couple every now and then, but mostly a video every day. We still publish articles, so we're obviously net positive here, but I would very much like to regain control of our schedule. And so for the past probably about the past 2 months now, I've had an internal roadmap. We haven't talked publicly about it, and we've stuck to it pretty damn well. And before I posted a public one, I wanted to make sure we had the ability to stick to it. So I'm very confident in the dates we have here today. And just a couple of examples of things that we had fallen behind on that we've gotten back up to speed with. The R9 290X revisit that we did, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago now, was something that I had originally promised maybe like 1 to 2 years before that. And it just disappeared, it just fell through. We had so many other things. You have to realize that like behind the camera, there's a shelf called things that need to be reviewed. And we had to add another shelf. And there's a lot of obligations. So anyway, we eventually got back to the 290X. Having the office has really enabled us to start kind of steamrolling through some of the content that we've wanted to do for ages. I'm still behind on a couple of other deliverables that I've promised, and some of them we finally have on the roadmap. So thank you for your patience. But let's go through a couple of these things today. I feel like going forward, my hope is that now that we've kind of gotten comfortable in the space, we've added to the team. So Josh, one of our team members, is relatively new, maybe, I don't know, 6 months now or something like that, and he's helped a ton with video editing and production. So we're really starting to catch up here. Number one thing that's important, you're probably going to see in the next couple of days. So CPU Workstation Bench Overhaul. We've never really done workstation testing. We've done a couple of Premiere tests. We always do Blender, but we haven't explored it too much. And we're still not going crazy with it, but we have, over the past couple of months, Patrick has been silently working on building an entirely new test methodology, test suite for us for CPUs, and I worked with him on this, but he's done all the implementation work, and we validated the numbers, things like that. So it took us a few months to kind of push through and figure out what tests we want going forward, what we're getting rid of, and we're feeling pretty good about it now. So the Workstation Bench Overhaul, Workstation Bench coming into existence, I should say, is for CPUs. It'll be part of our CPU reviews. And this is built on top of a lot of requests from you all. So thank you for sending those in. We do listen. Sometimes it takes us 6 months. It might take us a year to add your request. And that's because the way we do our content, and this isn't the only way you can do content, of course. There are lots of channels who do it differently. But the way we do ours is we build a lot of data. We work off of kind of one methodology for one type of testing for a long time. we trust that methodology, and we don't really get rid of it until there's a substantial change. Maybe a Windows update, for example, has been a common reason. There might be a reason that we no longer trust the data. Maybe we start noticing like, hey, this Civ 6, great example. We might start noticing after the last update, this game performs 50% better. What happened? And that actually happened, by the way. We had to, at one point we did scrap Civ 6 and we had to rerun everything and it sucked. And actually it happened again a couple weeks ago. So anyway, we stick with them for a long time, but that's why it takes us so long to come up with a new one, and we might take a while to add your request. But we've added several of them. So the Workstation Benchmarks, we're very excited about. I've gone through all the numbers. Patrick's done a lot of work on it. We've both worked to validate each other's work and make sure that everything looks accurate. That's obviously the number one concern. That's why things take quite a while for us, because we're sort of just, I mean, I'm personally overly paranoid about making sure we have good data. You can't always hit that mark, but we're pretty good about hitting the mark. So anyway, tests added, GCC compile. So we've added GNU compiler collection to the testing. Those of you who have wanted programming benchmarks, in air quotes there, programming, we have added a compile benchmark for you. So thank you for the suggestion. It was an excellent idea, and we have it in the tests. We're very happy about that. All of this is still in Windows. I know a lot of you work in Linux. I'm sorry, we don't have a fluid way to work that into the benching right now, so forgive me on that. Work with me there. But we've added compile testing in Windows. We're using a flag in it that allows the maximum threads to be spawned as allowed by the CPU. So we see some really interesting scaling with things like Ryzen, with HEDT Intel, and so forth. And that's one of our new tests. We also, Adobe Premiere has been consistently added now. We've done Premiere tests in the past, but we have always dropped the ball on it. We'll do it for like the 3175X, Threadripper, we did those. We might have done it for like one of the i9s before that. I think the 7980XE, but we were never consistent. And it's because of a lot of, issues with the project files were maybe inconsistent, where they would crash, and that would happen enough where the renders we couldn't get them done in a timely fashion for review. So we fixed that. We have a very streamlined Adobe Premiere set of benchmarks now, including 1080p 60 show floor coverage. So that's a realistic use case. It's all A-roll and B-roll. And we have shot on the UX 180. We also have a charts benchmark. It's getting scrapped, but it's still really interesting data, and we'll show you why in the Workstation Benchmark video. And then we have and charts benchmark is it's literally just all of our charts with the animations and everything. It's really intensive. And then we also have a final one that's a 4K 60 A-roll and B-roll shot. And they are currently all H.264. If there's popular demand, we might add H.265. It's really slow. I don't know if it scales linearly with H.264, but we do have H.264. And then we've added Adobe Photoshop consistently, 7-zip compression and decompression. Really interesting data for that one, especially decompression. It behaves differently from compression in terms of the CPU hierarchy, so that's really cool. And then we've also added V-Ray, and I think there's a couple of other ones that I'm presently forgetting. But yeah, really fun Workstation Benchmarks coming up. Target release date for that, we're looking at hopefully April 16th or 17th. So that's going to be this week. And definitely look forward to that. After that, we have a GN CPU gaming benchmark overhaul. We've been running the same games for a long time now on CPUs. It's time to change that. And that is getting updated. Target date for publication before end of April. So most of the tests are done at this point. I need to personally go through them and validate, make sure, just like look at the charts, make sure they look accurate, and see if we need to rerun anything. And once we feel good about that, we'll finish the scripting and get that up. So that has now 15 total combinations of games. It's not that many games. We're still sticking with the approach of the size of the operation and the amount of stuff we try to do and varied content, stuff like that. We try to restrict the games to ones that we think provide a pretty wide view of what the gaming landscape looks like. So we have RTS, we have Grand Campaign, we have turn-based strategy, we have first-person shooter style games, and they're racing games. So we've kind of got one of everything in there, and we try to pick most of the APIs as well. So we have DX11, DX12 for sure. So we don't go too crazy on them, but there's 15 total combinations, which is more than we normally do. Occasionally we'll drop games as we go, so a little bit of behind the scenes knowledge for you. Part of the secret is that because of how games update these days, there's really no offline gaming anymore for the most part. Because of how they update, throughout a life cycle of our bench, we will drop games as we go if it gets to a point where like, oh, I don't know, Civ 6 updated, and now the numbers are no longer accurate to gameplay. And when we run a new CPU that might be a worse CPU objectively than an old one we've run, it's performing better, and that's because of the update. If that happens, we drop the game and we don't bring it back until we can rerun all the CPUs on that bench. So that's part of the secret for why we start with a lot of combinations, because we do drop them as the bench ages, because we keep our data for as long as possible, and that's part of that. So 15 total combinations. By combinations, I mean we're doing 2 resolutions, so 1080p, 1440, and one of those games only tests on 1 resolution, Civ 6, because it doesn't matter, it's turn time. Case testing methodology updates. This one is tricky. I'm hopeful that we can get the first update live, like public, by end of April. And we've had 2 things we're adding here. One of them is we're adding noise normalized testing. This is a very popular part of our CPU cooler reviews. It's well liked. It's a popular part of our GPU cooler reviews. And what we do is we set it so that there is a fixed noise level for every device that goes through the bench. CPU coolers and GPUs are the best examples. GPU coolers. And when we set a fixed noise level, it's typically about 40 dBA. It's going to be different for cases. And what that does is it allows us to eliminate some of the concerns. So if we test 2 CPU coolers, CPU cooler A, CPU cooler B, let's just pick some real ones. EVGA CLC series has like 2,000, 2,500 RPM fans. There's 2,500 RPM fans on the CLC 240. That's ridiculous. I don't remember the exact noise level off the top of my head, but it's well over 50 dBA, and that gets loud. I think one of the coolers for sure is approaching 60. And so the problem there is a CLC 240 now is going to look like one of the best products on the bench. It'll look better than 280s, and technically it is from flat out performance, but in reality, you might have something that's a little bit warmer, but not that much, and is operating at like 40 dBA. And then the EVGA CLC 240 might be more than 2 times perceived to the human ear a noise level higher. That's not fair. So it's not fair to the quieter one to say the louder one's better, because duh, like that's how it works. So that's why we have noise normalized testing, where we set a fixed noise level, we test it at that noise level, and everyone's leveled for the same efficiency. How well do you push air through a radiator, and how well do you move liquid at a given noise level, level playing field? How does everyone do? It's a great testing methodology. We're really happy with it, especially for GPU coolers. It's hard to do for cases, and we'll talk about the reasons why in that video. But there are a lot of challenges with this. We've gotten it worked out reasonably well for cases. We're still kind of going through the numbers right now, running new tests on new cases, or well, old cases that we're retesting. So anyway, we're unsure of how that will work out, but we will have data for it nonetheless, and hopefully this is a reliable testing metric for cases that we can keep going forward, because that bench has been the same for a while now. Our last change was to add Blender. Change before that was to add Firestrike, and that's on top of the torture testing. So we already have, and I think this is fair to say, the most thermally comprehensive testing for cases, but we want to do more. I know you all have requested, so noise normalize is next. You've also very frequently requested normalized fan solution testing, where we take a case and we have a set of maybe 3 fans, and we put those in like every single case. They have to fit all of them, otherwise it's no good. They have to go in the same spots, or it's no good. And do the test and see who's got the best like design if you normalize for the fan. That's hard, like really difficult, because you start ending up with scenarios where it's not fair. Like the H500p mesh, great example. In order to fit one fan to all cases, we need a 120 or a 140. You start using cases that come with 200s. The reason people buy them is because they come with 200s, and you replace the fans. If it performs worse now, it's really not fair. It's not realistic, and it's not a great test. But there are a lot of cases where that is a fair thing to do. The fractal meshify cases are a good example of this, where they come pretty bare bones, and there are plenty of other mid-tower competitors. The NZXT H500 is an interesting one, because if you change the stock configuration, as we showed in our review, you can actually make the performance a lot worse. And this is the same for the Q500L as well, by the way. But anyway, we're adding that in. It might be a one-off test piece. It might be permanent methodology. It'll depend on how the cases look, and if it's like, it may well come out where the test results are me on camera saying, look, this is why we haven't done this, and let me just address the request. Here's the data. Here's why it doesn't really make sense. Or it could be like, this is awesome. We have some really cool testing we can add to cases. So we'll see how that goes. Target date for that end of April for at least one of those two things. And then GN storage overhaul and compression server build. This will be short. End of April is the goal for this. We have a dual slot, dual X79 socket server sort of that we've been working on. And it's going to be used for video file compression. We're doing a video on it just kind of for fun. So you'll see that end of April. That'll be more of an internal change than an external one, but we will have a content piece on it. PC build, live stream, and OC live stream. So we do have a PC build stream we're doing in the next couple of weeks. OC streams, we're in talks with Joe Stepanzi again, Bearded Hardware, who was our special guest overclocker, brought liquid nitrogen with him last time. We're hoping to hit a first week of May for a live stream with him, and if he can't do it, he's in Florida, so if he can't do it because of logistics, then we'll reschedule and I'll do something that week instead. So we'll have a stream, a couple of them in the next few weeks. It's just a matter of, is anyone there with me on the stream? Patrick's likely joining me for the stream of the PC build, and we're probably going to open whatever fan mail we have left in the box while we do that stream. So that's all first week of May, hopefully, and we might end up before it if we're ahead of schedule. Getting back into closed loop liquid cooler reviews, we already started this. We did this with the H115i Platinum. It's been a while since we've done CLC reviews. We have a big chart of them, and it's time to update. So we started this one already, but we're adding the Alpha Cool unit, the Ice Bear, is it Extreme? The name escapes me right now. But we're adding that new Alpha Cool unit, and we're also testing our first SwiftTech product we've ever tested by the second week of May for CLC reviews. More quality checks added for GN. The target date for this to really start happening is June. So the way the pipeline works, videos get finished, and I watch the whole video, and in that process, we'll often make changes. There are issues we've run into where, depending on where I watch it, there might be something on the YouTube side of things after processing. We've had really weird issues in the past that I can't replicate them. It's happened twice. We'll upload a video, and then just like one clip is missing audio. It's just gone. And in the render file, it's there. So we have no idea what happened. It's only happened twice. It's a low percent. One of the times the video was published, and it was actually the Principal Technologies video, it was taken down within like 30 minutes. It was one of the hardest decisions related to content that I made that year, because it was like, oh my God, this is a huge piece, and I have to delete it, and everyone's going to think that it's like some threat from PT. So anyway, that was an issue. So quality checks happening. I currently check the videos when they're done and make changes, or request that the video editors make changes, and that's kind of it. But this pipeline has become really burdensome for me because my time is limited. I'm the biggest bottleneck in the operation, and I would like to resolve that as much as is realistic. And part of what we're going to do is I'm requesting the video editors to look over each other's work more going forward as well. So not just, we've kind of learned that instead of the person who made the video going back over it for quality checking, have the other person do it, and vice versa, because then, I mean, it makes sense. You're not sitting there looking at like the same damn thing for the whole day, and then you have to look over it again. You're going to miss the things that you missed the first time because your brain's filling in the gaps. Kind of like if you're typing and you leave out a word and you do a proofread, you might not even notice. You need someone else to do that pass. So that's one of the changes we're doing. It's an internal change. Keegan has been the longest standing active person working with GN, working for GN. And in June, when he has some more availability, he's not full-time, but in June he's going to be more full-time. And that will be a big move. So he'll be in part of a quality checking role, and his job will be look through the video, make sure it meets our guidelines for accuracy to whatever degree he's knowledgeable in, and primarily his job will be make sure it meets the editing guidelines. We don't have any uncovered clips that need to be covered. We don't have any like poorly scaled hardware news screen grabs or something, or once it's uploaded to YouTube, make sure the processing looks good, stuff like that. So that'll be part of his job. Mine will be more on the accuracy side, but he'll do a bit of that. And then that'll be good just for improving the quality of the content. It can always be better. It's like I think it is fair to say the content quality is pretty high, but there are definitely things like one of the recent news videos where it was just the resolution was terrible on the screen grabs, and that wasn't on us. Ultimately, it was captured at 8K, but it was on us because we didn't catch it when we uploaded it to YouTube. It got killed and in the processing, I guess, and when we re-uploaded it, it was fine, but it was too late because it was public. So we're trying to prevent that type of thing going forward. New product launch, GN new product launch, similar to the mod mat in that it's very custom. I wish I could tell you what it is right now, but I need to quality check it first before I make an announcement on this one. So we're really excited about it. This thing has, the product has taken us about a year to get done. A lot of, kind of like the medium mod mat took us about that same time period, I think. It's a lot of samples and working with the factories. We had to customize this product a lot more than expected. So the factory did some unique tooling work for us. We'll talk about this more later, but anyway, it's a new GN product. We're hoping to launch this one in May. It should be, it's already shipped from the factory. It is coming to us now, so we're hoping for May. And again, this is kind of like, in terms of being a custom product, it's mod mat level. It's not like we took a shirt and printed on it. We have those really cool custom shirts too, but this was still even more work than those where they're like custom sewn shirts and stuff. So it's more work than that. So we're very excited about it. I'm nervous in my excitement because with a new product like this, you always are, these are big orders. This one in particular is the biggest order I've ever placed because the minimum order quantity was very high. It's the most amount of money I've ever in my life spent in a single transaction. So it's a little scary, but I'm very excited about it. And that'll come out in May is our goal for the new product. New B-roll set. This is our set. We have another set kind of right there, and that is the live streaming set. You've seen it before, likely, in our live streams. And we've done some builds there too. The SGI system with Patrick, that was done there. It's better for two people. But we have kind of a dead corner in the room. It's over there. Not that that necessarily means anything, but there's a corner over there that doesn't really get used. It's got a tall table and two chairs, and I've sat at it like twice. I normally use the table in the kitchen when we like sit down to eat or something. So that corner is just not really used, and I kind of realized this table, that table, they end up with just stuff on them all the time from projects we have, and it would better enable the video team. It's two things here. To take shots when these tables are filled on a special table only for them that I never fill with stuff. And two, it's good for the video team because it gives them a new location that's different in aesthetic than both of these are like workshop style, industrial style sets with a lot of electronics. So we're doing something a bit different in the other corner. This is partly a creative move. I've allowed the video team to take control of this project. It's one of the first times I've done that, where I said, okay, Josh and Andrew, you guys are in charge. Figure out what goes in the corner. Send me links within a budget. I'll buy it, and then we'll build it together. So first time I've really done that. I'm excited about it. They came up with a great plan, and I'm hopeful that this is a move that will allow the people who work here to have some more creativity, take some more unique shots, prevent things from becoming stale. So that's part of that move. That target is this week. We're going to build that this week. And you'll start seeing it probably next week, maybe. We need some shots, obviously, first. Let's see, next one. helping our distributor move into his space for GN product fulfillment. So our distributor is the person who ships all of our store merch. So the store.gamersnexus.net website that has shirts, it's got the mod mats, the mouse pads, I'll just plug a few things while I'm here, the beer glasses, all that stuff. There's one guy who does that, and he's a good friend of mine, and we did a video before of helping him build out a house that he works out of, worked out of as of last week, build it up to a point where he could do more efficient product fulfillment. And he mostly just does it for us, but he's expanding, trying to add new clients. So this is really cool. It's two small businesses that both started in a house, were friends, and started working together. And now he's also moving out of his, moving into an office. So we both had the same path. It's really cool to see that. He is moving, and we are helping him move in the next week or two. We might have a video on that. There's already a video on the Patreon behind the scenes section. So if you want to see what the new warehouse looks like, it's not mine. It's not like GN's warehouse. This is our distributor's warehouse. He's paying for it. But we're occupying a significant space of it, and so it's kind of cool, and we'll help him move in. Moving back to 2 to 4 Patreon behind-the-scenes videos, we have been inconsistent in the past couple of months with these, but we've gotten consistent again in the last 3 to 4 weeks now. So I just today uploaded a behind-the-scenes video of that warehouse. I uploaded one 10 days ago with Patrick on a Dual X79 system build. I uploaded one a week before that. So we're finally getting back into things with the Patreon behind the scenes videos. You can go to patreon.com/GamersNexus and sign up if you would like to get access to our Discord with all of the other people like you in it, or access to our behind the scenes videos. So thank you for bearing with me. We've gotten consistent on it again. It's just been a lot of growing pains, and as we've gotten some help from Josh and others, it's really started picking back up. Only a couple more here. Growing the side channel. So there's another channel we have called GN Steve, which is named because I wasn't sure what to do with it. And other than being used for Patreon behind the scenes stuff, that's unlisted unless you're a backer, and sometimes we'll set one public every now and then. But other than that, I've been uploading some biking videos to it. So downhill mountain biking is a big thing in my life. It's or local mountain biking if I can't go downhill on a weekend. That is what allows me to continue working hard, helps keep motivated, stuff like that. So doing some videos over there of that and of the bikes. I've done custom bike builds, much like custom PC builds. So that channel is something that we're growing. It's not going to just be biking right now. It is, but I have a video review I'm going to do of Snowflake's, the cat from the house, of Snowflake's water fountain I bought her. And so she will star in that video, but that'll be on the GN Steve side channel. So definitely subscribe to that if you're interested in less technical, well, not like electronics tech content, but bike tech or biking or, I don't know, cats, and that stuff will go over there. So GN Steve is the side channel for that. We are focusing hard this year on growing that one. I'm not diverting time from GN, so I'm basically taking like 6 hours a week and working on that channel, and that's my time budget. If I can't do it in that time, then I have to figure out something else, like bringing on some of the help internally for GN to that one. But anyway, that is the current plan. So we're posting, I guess really, posting every Sunday for that one. Clearing the review shelf needs to happen. There's a lot of stuff on there. We're working through a bunch of products right now. It'll take us a little while, but we're gonna clear it off and then start getting back into other content. So I want to get all those obligations out of the way. Lots more planned, so have to get organized and tackle all that stuff. And then rebuilding the website and the forum, I almost had this done. Every time we do a website update, I do it on December 24th, 25th, and 26th. And I work on the 25th to really get the new server and the website dialed, because I know that's the day when the fewest people are accessing the website historically. So close to getting it done. And it was like almost ready to go live. There were a few more things I was unhappy with. And so then we hit CES and that was it, like schedule's ruined. So there's a slow point in the year every year for about 2 weeks in December. That's my time to work on updating the website. or update methodology or whatever, and we missed the window. We almost got there, but this is something I'm taking really seriously at this point. So the website's what started us. YouTube is a much bigger part of our business now. The merch store is a big part of our business, but the website has remained a place to post scripts, to post written reviews, and to post Eric's news roundups, things like that. I would like to get it back into full operation. It's not been as much of a focus the last 6 months or so as I would have liked because YouTube's grown so much for us. But we need it there. One, for a safety net because YouTube is scary. Two, I really like written content personally. I like writing it and I like reading it. And so I would like the website to kind of be in full operation. It can do a lot more than it is. And the other thing too is if you kind of look at the market, a lot of technical writers have left. They've gone to companies, Intel mostly, AMD to some extent. And with this exodus of writers, there's a big demand that's being filled by fewer sites. So we would like to meet that demand to the extent that we can. We can't fill the shoes of a lot of these people, but we can fill some of the shoes. And they might be the wrong size, but we'll fill them nonetheless. So the hope is to get the website really back up and running. The forum, it kind of hurt, but we had the forum for years. It was the first thing I made, was the forum, since like 2007 or 8. We had it for over a decade. And then I deactivated it last year because the spam was getting so bad and we didn't have moderators and I wasn't checking it because the website is such a Band-Aid mess, the way it's held together, because it's over a decade old, that it was difficult to maintain. So I disabled the forum because the spam was getting bad. And we've rebuilt it. I have like an internal version of the new forum that works better. And it's very similar to the Linus Tech Tips forum. It's the same backend, just in our style. The website has had a template rebuild, but it's stuck. I'll do it, but I just need time. So end of July is my hopeful target for that one. All these other dates I've given you are very realistic. That one is the biggest question mark. I'm gonna try hard to hit that date. I really hope we do. Would like to add a graphing engine as well, so we could generate the charts in the site and not do PNGs anymore to just to make the charts better. So anyway, I know this is a long video. This is really only meant for people who really like our content and want to know what we're up to. You really like our stuff, and for that we are eternally grateful. Thank you. And for people who have donated money to us, have purchased from our store, anyone who's supported us in any way, watching the content, commenting, even something as simple as retweeting, or buying merch from us, paying on Patreon to help us, we are just trying to keep you in the loop. So that's our roadmap for the next couple of months, all the way through July. Couple small things. We'll be at small things. This is not a small thing. We'll be at Computex, the biggest thing actually, the next couple of months. We'll be at Computex. So just got back from China, Taiwan for the trip. So we did Taiwan first, then we did China, went back to Taiwan, and then we left. We did that for all those factory tours, and I have more still that we can publish. But it started feeling too much like Discovery Channel, so we went back to testing content. We're going back to Taiwan and China in late May, early June for Computex. And I'm going to go with Keegan over to Shenzhen. The other guys will stay in Taiwan. Keegan and I will make a video there that we have planned. It's going to be really fun, that video. And we're making some more stuff like while we're traveling of the locale. And I'm really excited about that. So it's fun and it's interesting and it's all electronics related. So anyway, we have a lot of stuff. LTX after that, and those are gonna be the next two big ones. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me through this. For those of you who watched this far, I'm not gonna recap this, you get the idea. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up. I greatly appreciate your patience and support. I know we've missed some deadlines in the years, as everyone does, but we are finally getting a handle back on things again. I mean, you have to realize like just how hard it is to manage time of other people, especially, and try and hit all these targets. So we're getting there. getting there. I'm still doing like, I don't know, 70 to 100 hours a week, depending on the week, for a realistic range. So time management, not the only problem. Physical allowance of time is the other problem. We're working on it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. I'm sure you are if you watched this boring video. If you want to support us directly, go to store.gamersnexus.net and consider purchasing one of our shirts. Or if you feel like spending a bit more on something custom that we've made, we do have the mod mats in both medium and large, and they'll be back shipping in about 10 days. If you back order those, they'll go out in about 10 days. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.